The whole process that we've gone through is a process of asking, how can we design a community where the easy choice is to be on foot, or the easy choice is to be on a bicycle, or the easy choice is to be using your legs to move you between one place and another. This is a process of asking, how can somebody who is in a wheelchair still have an active lifestyle? It's a process of asking, how can, going beyond the bounds of children, how can a 70-year-old who has mobility impairments move from one place to another? And in fact, probably for an older person with mobility impairments, it's almost the same answers as it is for a 4-year-old who has mobility impairments because they're young. For us to be able to build communities where everything around you says, here's a way to get there without having to be in a car, is a community where people will become more active because that's what their community encourages them to do.
When it was first proposed, we're interested in a Safe Routes to Play project, I thought, Safe Routes to Play, really? Is there a lot of value in an exercise such as Safe Routes to Play? And lo and behold, when this draft report showed up and I read through that, I was really impressed that, for two reasons primarily. One is everything that's in there is coming from our residents. It's their sentiments, it's their perspectives. And so that's incredibly valuable to have that. And then what jumped out at me is, here's a number of the issues that they've addressed. Those issues have been brought up in other studies that might have said this intersection is problematic, or you really should have a sidewalk here. We can now say, well, that's not an anomaly or some aberration. That's supported in this study as well. And so you look at the recommendations in there, and it lays out your planning work plan for the next 5 years. Here's where you need to be putting in your trails. Here's where you need to be prioritizing fixing sidewalks, et cetera, et cetera. And so it really, it was impressive.
We wanted to be able to craft this document in a way that they could take the recommendations village by village in that plan so that it's clear and transparent what the needs are, what the improvement strategies are, where the recreational facilities are, where children are, and what the gaps are in each village. All of those items are going to be translated and reflected in the city's long-range multimodal transportation plan. That is a policy document for the city, and that is what they're going to use as a lens through their budgeting, through their CIP process, as they move forward in the next few years. So we're really encouraged by that.
I think something that really drew me to the project was the surprising amount of people who responded to the survey that said that they do want a healthier way to get to places. A majority of the people said that they travel with their children in the car, in the family vehicle all the time, but there were a lot of people who responded and said, yes, I would walk. Yes, I would like to bike. And really, at the public meetings, they really wanted other options and were pushing for paths and sidewalks. So to me, that made me think this project was more important to the community because people wanted a change. They cared about it.
The community walkabouts were a way for all the entities within the Safe Routes to Play project to start to gather information. And we envisioned them as a number of different things. First, there was a gathering where there were maps that were up. Everyone loves to look at a map, find out where they are. And then it also gave them an opportunity to say, this is what we want. This is what's not here. So that was the idea of the walkabout, was let's get grounded within your own village center or your own community. Let's look at what's here. What do you wish was here? How do you get there? What are your barriers? Which is a big word that we use all the time. And those are both real and perceived barriers.
I think some of the barriers really were, the one that comes to mind, I guess, is like the sidewalks or lack of sidewalks, where there's gaps in the sidewalks. And that's a barrier that, again, is, so much more powerful to see that spatially displayed than just have a bullet that says there aren't enough sidewalks or we're lacking adequate sidewalks. When you see a spatial map graphic that shows a number of children and then a resource that they're trying to access, and then a huge gap in the sidewalk to get there, it really hammers home the point. It provides clarity. Clear as day, here's where we need a sidewalk.
A big part of our Safe Routes to Play project has been about using the same planning tools to evaluate the needs of walkers and bikers and other non-motorized travelers as are applied to people who use automobiles. And the intention is that we now have planning process. So if you think about municipal planning, we're talking about multiple years into the future. And what we wanted to put on the table is planning materials that are in formats and strategies and styles and incorporating people's voices in the same way that automobile transportation planners have for years. And that now our city planners, as they move forward over the next 10 years, will have good data to be able to make decisions on relative to the needs of bikers and walkers.
I think walking definitely does facilitate a community. I think you see people out there, you see people exercising, you see families together, and that's how you make friends and that's how you make connections. And you do these things together.